Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Good. Good afternoon. Yeah.
Alltså egentligen är det också, men det var mig nämnt då.
Hello, Pasa.
Hello. Leo and I, we got a warning from our IT department on someone is trying to send an email on behalf on someone else. But I think it's because he was replying to the governance board reflector. Don't you think, Leo?
I think it's a forward on the email on meeting invitation. It's not a reply. It's forward on the email. Sorry, meeting invite from Outlook.
Yeah.
Looks like this.
Yeah. Anyway, I just received an accept for the meeting just before you contacted me, Leo. So I think it's legit. I can't see anything in my in my agenda. Makoto-san, recording is started.
Yeah, thank you.
I decided to do auto start recording, so I don't forget.
Yeah. Oh, it's helpful.
Yeah. I just received a reply from Hugo saying that he is again caught up in an ISO revision, so he will not be able to join. So we'll give it a little while to see if Otavio can see what it look in the tracking side.
I'm here there.
You're there?
I joined a minute ago.
Okay. I was looking only on the symbols.
Oh,
And I saw some Makoto-san's colleagues. So Adler accepted, so let's wait a little while, see what's happening. There he is. I think Adler also. Hi, Adler. You're on mute.
Okay. Hi, everyone. How are you?
We're fine. So you guys looking forward to travel now when all restrictions are lifted, or?
Just inside of China, yes. It's the beginning of our national holiday, so I come to Beijing today, so yeah, for traveling.
Yeah, I also see Japan is lifting some restrictions also. Okay, so I think we're all here that has accepted the meeting. No reply from Microsoft as usual. So I think we should try to reach out to Microsoft. Can we take that on our half as we know some of the people there, Leo?
Yes.
Okay, so I sent out for the agenda, reflecting that for some time there has been some questions around the scope, etc. of UniMatrix, and I ask you all to send some feedback on what we intentions are, and the only reply I got was from iPro, a very detailed reply from iPro on a technical level, a lot of it, but I think some of the reply somehow, how shall I say, coincides with also Axis view, and that is, I think we are a little bit, how shall we say, Leo, hesitant to who is the actual user of UniMatrix. who will be the receiver of what UniMatrix is producing. Because when we started this work, we assumed that there would be a community of developers, developers for different embedded applications in our respective products, and we wanted it to make easy for all these developers to have a common dev platform, and not depending on what silicon you were running on. But I would say that, correct me if I'm wrong, Leo, that Axis has now maybe starting to think, is it really the security industry that will do this through independent developers? Or is the scope for the use of our products expanding to other areas?
So I think when UniMatrix been started as a project, that assumption was actually correct. But I think over the last couple of years, what we see, at least from our end, is that the market is slightly changing. And that is mostly driven by camera manufacturers, actually. More and more security-focused applications started to be embedded and included in the camera proposition, so to say. That leaves actually very little market space for independent developers to build their businesses within safety and security applications. It's still possible, but what we think is might be a right assumption at the moment is that the market for those developers are actually outside safety and security, and something that we kind of call operational efficiency. So it's use cases that are beyond safety and security. It's not really within the budget of security manager, maybe. Also, Ottavio, I think it addresses some of your concerns last month during the call. What we also see from the cost perspective with an operational efficiency, there is a higher acceptance to a higher cost for the camera. And as we discussed, potential components for UniMatrix project and some fear that those could drive the demands on the hardware up. So I think it's a high acceptance for that within, or should I say, outside safety and security applications. So I think what we're trying to say is that it probably would be a good exercise to discuss really what market we're trying to address, and who will be the largest group that benefit from UniMatrix initiative, apart from camera manufacturers. So what are the developers? Who are the developers that will be using that, and what they will be trying to do? So I'm not saying that current assumption is wrong. I'm just saying that we see that market have changed, and maybe we should revisit the discussion again.
Yeah, I totally agree with your view. So that's why, from our part, for this meeting, and we prepare a little bit some simple slide to write a little bit on our concern or our information we want to share, because we have the same thinking as well, that if we want to do this, firstly we need to work out a very thoughtful targeting strategy firstly. So without that, it's extremely difficult to do something, because all of us we are capacity and resource limited, and market limited, and even experience limited. So it's very dangerous or risky to target a very, how to say, expensive group. What I mean, but at the first step, we need to be to be clarified on the target. So yeah, from our part, we have something to share. Yeah, maybe later.
Yeah, can I? So I agree that target is not only bound to video surveillance. In fact, if you remember, Per, when we met in Lund almost 2 years ago, I asked from the very beginning to remove the word video, because I see application that is not only bound in video. Audio can be something that can have a lot of, for example, analytics. Just to make an example, shot detectors or something like this. But it can be pushed to other devices as well. So for this reason, I think, and this is what I was trying to say also last time, we cannot make something that is too huge, otherwise moving to other smaller devices can be painful, and we are going to cut ourselves off from potential markets. But I totally agree that we must not bound our initiative only to video.
Okay. iPro, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, iPro also agree with hack vision and video tech. So of course, so already so the framework about AI application is needed for the various markets. Therefore, so I think so. The expansion about the scope is acceptable for us, I think.
Okay. So should we proceed then to redefine? I think in the charter we did remove upon your request, Ottavio, the video. So I think we just said analytics application or something.
Yes.
So it's not restricted there. But maybe Adler, do you want to show your thoughts? Share the screen right now.
Yeah. Okay. It's not. Just late moment. Yes. Just 1 minute. I need to configure my Mac. So this is the first time I use my Mac for Teams.
But while you're doing that, I open up the mission here on the governance board charter, and it actually says to create an open source reference implementation using industry standard APIs and frameworks to allow management of cloud native application in the physical security industry ecosystems for analytics in order to enhance interoperability. So that should then be expanded.
Yeah, I think, well, at least we should discuss if we should expand it. Because if we see from physical security analytics applications, more and more of those coming from vendors like ourselves and coming embedded in the cameras. So the market for independent developers becomes smaller. So if we want to address a bigger market, it's probably somewhere outside security applications.
I think Adler has achieved 2 screens now, so we have 2 Adlers in the meeting.
Really?
That's a concept of digital twin.
Yes.
How to share my?
There is a little symbol with a. Now you're sharing.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's your
I
mailbox. It's your mailbox.
Mailbox.
Sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not mailbox. Yeah. Okay, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I can see.
Okay, so yeah, it's the screen. Yeah, it's in fact we start UniMatrix for I don't know 2 years already. So I think from this time and the general process goes not very smoothly. So from our part, from Hikvision, we have some kind of concern or some kind of problem or something we want to we think we need to discuss more closely on this kind of a point. Of course, Hikvision as one of the initial participants, and we kept a very close communication and contact with everyone in GP board, in technical board. So the strategy is that we really would like to play a role inside of this organization at the very beginning, of course. So that's why we from our R&D team, we are committed to follow up La Road framework. Even at the beginning, we didn't agree on some kind of technical direction, but that is fun. So anyway, we can put our own reference framework as a sub library and a La Road framework. So this is this kind of commitment we can show that we want to do with within this UniMatrix organization. And also Dora worked out the API definition, so based on TP request. And from our side, also I think as to Hikvision, we are how to say, our biggest strength is that we have a very huge global sales network and business customer base. So this is the biggest strength we have. So what we can contribute the most, I think, is that we can be the biggest how to say, promoter of the whole concept. So once it goes to market, I think we can Hikvision can use our global communication network and distribution channels, so we can send out this message to our massively covered customer base and recruit partners or educate partners through different approaches, through webinar training or everything we have. So, but anyway, every company, including Axis and Panasonic or any other company, when we do investment, we need to think about the return, right? So the ROI is the most important. So that's why we are very urged to push all of our colleagues inside of this organization to have a clear-cut business model or the very clarified direction. So this is the most important. Without that, that will become a very, how to say, challenging for us to asking company continue investment or increase their investment in future, because everyone needs to see a good perspective, of course. So without that, it's very dangerous for everyone, right? So kind of I don't know, UniMatrix 1.0 or something like that. I don't know what is that, but anyway, before launching that, we need to figure out such uncertainties. So I just copy paste the initial concept of the UniMatrix. So I don't know. Do we still stick on this initial concept or not? Because from this concept, I think it's a very eye-catching or very good positioned concept. But until now, from our part, we think it lacks some key word, key involvement. For example, management of cloud native applications. So what is that? How to do that? So I don't think it's very clear, right? And industry standard, if we do that, we need to define what kind of industry we are targeting, right? So that's why, and then we can see how to do that and a good industry standard, including different important players, right? So I don't know until now the whole initial concept is still valid or not, but just write such a question. And some key concerns from us is that firstly the partner scope, because until now I think all of the members participating into GB meetings are or hardware manufacturers. I don't know about TB meeting, but what I see is that. So I don't think it's quite enough to create some full-fledged framework. So as our initial concept described, and this is the partner scope. And another thing is the developer target, as I mentioned. So it's still developer base that we target, or we want to target more larger scope with some different vertical market with a different technology like business intelligence. So we see lots of business intelligence coming out from these 2 years, and also in industrial manufacturing area, there are lots of players doing some very specific automation algorithms. So this is also another trend. So, but all of the both of them are very quite new to security manufacture to us. So how do we react to that kind of direction? So I don't know. And of course, if we do security only, so how to differentiate from developers' efforts comparing to manufacturers' own technology? Because right now, almost all the hardware manufacturers, they have their own detection analytics. So that will be a big challenge to recruit developers, invest their time to do something which cannot be have some money back. So this is a key challenge for recruiting, right? And also how to share the benefits to developers. We recruit because we need to share some benefits. Without benefits, it's I don't think any developers want to invest 6 months to develop an app without any benefits, right? Also from our side, we see lots of AI and deep learning framework with hardware. Some organization or mega companies, they have their own offering available on in market. So how to differentiate ourselves to these mega players offerings? So this is a very interesting question. If we want to do some big, the last one is how to increase the value transfer from a code development work to market. So how to help developers sell or promote or market their application. This is still far from our current stage. So, and there are some insights for targeting different level of app developers. We just made some 4 general categorizations from our knowledge. Maybe it's wrong, maybe it's true, but it's just some insights for you guys. First, if we want to say the first is mostly like commercial CCTV players with some specific detection or some AMPR, some face algorithm providers. Maybe everyone has some partner in this area, but yeah, he's more clear. But if we want to do that, most of the players, they are very happy or very comfortable to do 1 or 2 edge computing with the hardware manufacturers, with the Axis ACAP or ours or Panasonic or other players edge computing framework. So this is still good to recruit them to a larger family. But what they are most carrying, it's not the edge computing, the edge capacity itself, but the whole solution level, including VMS layout, VMS support, because they need to have some kind of application to display their specific algorithm, right? If this is just a generic algorithm, of course they cannot compete with CCTV hardware manufacturers. So it's impossible. But if we want to do that, we need to think about how to get more VMS into our scope, and think about and we need their help or their some their strategy to help UniMatrix make a larger window for such developers. But right now I don't see many VMS partners coming into our UniMatrix. So this is one thing. Another, the second is and the third is it's quite similar but different vertical. The second one is there are lots of startup or niche companies. They focusing on retail business intelligence, omni-channel analytics, such very
Am I the only one that does not hear Adler anymore?
Sorry, you cannot hear me?
Now, yes, there was 1 minute off. Now, yes, I can hear you, but
okay.
for a while you were not. I could not. I saw you speak because.
Okay, so other guys are same, or do I need to repeat, or can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can.
Okay. How to?
I think it's just a network.
Yeah, I stay in a hotel, not very modernized in Beijing, so it's quite I just near 100 meters from Royal Palace, so around there are no modernized hotel, just a very old-fashioned hotel, and the Wi-Fi should not be excellent as expected. So,
but Adler,
yeah,
Adler, if you repeat from when you talked about specific verticals like retail, business intelligence, analytics, etc.
Yeah, this is the same. So for this part, for this specific analytic players, that most they provide a whole solution, including analytic with their own application. But the only difference is that most commercial level analytic players, they put their application onto AWS, onto cloud, these sorts of application. But for some industrial automation, production, traffic algorithm provider, they prefer to use some kind of on-site system with a server, with some client to show their application in a closed network, of course. And the last one is we see a handful of startup players, algorithm players. They have such a hands-on capability to do their own GPU-based cameras using Intel or NVIDIA GPU. So they also they will have their own application levels as well. But the most challenging for them is that they need to keep the whole hardware production and the supply chain, so it's a little bit difficult for them. But the quantity, I don't know. I just see a very few of them doing such thing. So that's why this is just some kind of targeting partners we can have right now. So maybe there are more from different areas we don't know yet. But I think if we want to make UniMatrix going successfully to the next step, we need to do the targeting as a first task, because we need to scope down. We don't have such a very big resources and the marketing weapons to do everything, so it's very difficult for us. But the bigger challenge, I think, is that the most work we are doing inside the UniMatrix is that we lots of resources that we put into framework level technicity, but we don't how to say jump out of scope to think about how to compete with our solution to other competitor or providers, for example, GPU-based hardware providers or some other providers. And if edge computing framework is our direction, but and the target partner we can figure out, then we need to think about the total investment cost. It's not only hardware cost, but it's a general total cost that which includes development time, migration cost from other platform to our platform, and also the total solution cost, including application level. So they need to vertical algorithm players, they need to think about how to show their application in cloud or in or without cloud, etc. And also we need to think about how to go to market, the such a development work for our app developers, if we want to be very successful or very powerful to this. That I just have some brainstorming idea. Is that if our target is something related to cloud, almost all the cloud players, AWS or Microsoft Azure, they have their own market, their own revenue sharing structure, and their own strategy. So why not we can use their structure to facilitate some app developers, to help app developers to earn money or to do some testing, to do some releasing, marketing things. So I don't know. It's just an idea, and yeah. So yeah, I mean, this is only for our GP scope, so our GP meeting. So I want to share more from our little bit internal information, our own knowledge, but yeah, I can share all of you individually, but I don't want to publish into GitHub currently, because we don't. We are still in the phase of discussing internally our strategy direction, right? So this is something I want to share. And yes, what do you think?
I think it's very interesting. First of all, thank you, Adler, for sharing that. I'm really glad to see that in a lot of points that you highlighted is exactly what we said in the beginning from our end. So I think it's really showing that there is a need to revisiting who we really target, and also if we agree on the targeting, do we have right participants in the project?
Yeah.
So I think it's my personal view is that I think it's great that we kind of have very similar view. One thing, when you talked about when you showed the wording from the definition of UniMatrix, you know, the colorful and catchy phrases. I mean, again, this is a collaboration project. So if we believe that it should be somewhat different or need to be defined, it's up to this group to define it. So it's not like someone is pushing that and said this is the absolutely truth, but it's rather a starting point for the discussion, and then it's up to this group to work out and jointly in a kind of spirit of collaboration to come up with what is really makes and create benefits for our companies and the organization as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with your presentation, Adler, and what we came from when we started this back in 2019, I think, was more from this sort of security industry scope, and the development around us has been extremely rapid in the past 2 years. So I think the conclusions, I mean, Leo and myself and Axis raised this question, and we discussed internally and come to very similar conclusion that you are, that it's a wider market.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that we share the thoughts on that aspect, also that how we view the market. I mean, both Axis and Hikvision has very good footprint in the market, and we know where we are in a way. Any comments from Ottavio or Makoto-san?
So I'm sorry, my PC crashed during the presentation, so I think I lost one central part of the presentation. Anyway, for what I saw, I think we also agree on what Adler just presented.
Yeah, everything is recorded, Ottavio, so you can have the time to revisit that at a more convenient time.
Yes, please. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Makoto-san, from iPro's point of view?
Yeah, I also agree with Adolfson's opinion in the maybe the market should be expanded. And by the way, so what is changed after now from the previous situation?
Well, I think what has changed from my point of view is that the what we call operational efficiency, when you deploy AI in deep learning to solve different tasks than traditionally surveillance, that has emerged very rapidly because of the computer power capable in the devices. And I think also we see a lot of manufacturers, maybe depending on the concern about AI in the general digitization market, that manufacturers tend maybe to have to choose to have that in-house, and because they see more value in providing this as an add-on to their own product than depending on a third-party network. That's my conclusion. What do you think, Leo?
I agree. So exactly as Anders said, I mean, this is what happened. Like almost all vendors providing their own detection analytics that are widely used within security. So solutions from application developers in a larger extent build on the metadata provided by those applications already. So it will be, I mean, as to a question, Adler, how to compete or how to clarify the competition between that type of analytics and native analytics from camera vendors. I mean, it's the market have changed, so cameras becomes more and more competent and a lot of functionality included from the beginning. So I think we see also in our development community, we see that the developers within security becomes fewer and fewer, and developers within field outside pure security becomes more and more. So they're moving towards that because actually camera manufacturers are taking this market from them.
Yeah. So that's why from beginning, what our point is that as a CCTV manufacturer, only we don't have such power to invite any of the
Now you disappeared again.
Yeah. He'll come back. Yeah, now he's back. You froze for a second.
So all of your images are becoming very, very fuzzy, very unclear. So it's okay. Everything come to during the last recent years, everything inside the CCTV market coming to from hardware level coming to a very big generalization in from the level of specification, because every manufacturer have a high megapixel 4K camera or low light cameras, but we don't have lots of room to play our own specificity, right? So only thing we can do is just develop our own algorithm or cooperate with other algorithm provider to do some kind of solution offering. So this is the only choice for every camera manufacturer. But sorry, if we want to jump out of scope and maybe with our organization strength, we can get involved some kind of new participant from, for example, from cloud or from deep learning framework manufacturer. So, for example, if we can get AWS or Microsoft Azure coming into our scope and to do something like we can. In fact, they have their own marketplace and they want to recruit more partners using their marketplace. And if we can work together as some kind of a cooperation alliance or cooperation organization, that UniMatrix can be a sub marketplace for their general marketplace, and all of their developer can use some kind of AWS or Microsoft deep learning capacity to do some app, or then testing their app, or development their, or deployment their app, or publish their app, and then our framework can have some connection to their cloud platform and download some app directly to our hardware. And for this point, I think it's very innovative for app developers, because they are very comfortable by using mega players framework, including AWS and Microsoft, and also their marketplace can help them to earn more money or earn more marketing exposure. And for us, that we will we will make a coordination together with them and get a more cloud-based app into edge-based app. So this kind of synergy, that maybe this is some point we can think about that. And yeah, this is one point. But if we do that point, maybe the target should be very commercial level algorithm developers. We want to target firstly, not an industrial, not a closed industrial vertical market. For example, traffic rarely they use AWS, but for commercial partners, developers, they are very, very likely to use AWS. They are big fan of AWS or Microsoft Azure. So,
I think it's totally right. But I think at least what we can see is that there is a big wish on the market to utilize more and more edge compute to in some cases get rid of service on the premises and move some of the part to the edge. But as you said, at the moment it's rather difficult for the developers who are very used to Azure environment or AWS environment and tool chains to take that and start coding in embedded and rather limited environment from resource point of view. So I think this is where we could collaborate and see how to make this transition for developers easier. Eventually agree on the tools that we could standardize within this project in collaboration with cloud providers if needed. But I think the aim should be, again, to make the transition to the edge applications from cloud native developers as easy as possible.
Yeah, I think it's also the main direction of Lariat, right? Because from Lariat framework in the you prefer to use some kind of public renowned reference framework and with OpenCV or something like that. So this is a very compatible with almost all the mega players. Yeah, technical. I don't know any more detailed, but technical speaking, I think it's talkable with them on that point, and I don't mean doable, but talkable. Yeah.
Right. So 10 minutes left. I'm just curious to to see how do we move from here, because first of all we kind of agreed that the scope discussion to be revisited. Yeah, and it's likely to be broader than just security focus. Also, I think we agreed that participations from cloud vendors as well as application developers is something that project would benefit from. Do I understand it correctly? That's what we're kind of saying, all of us.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I would suggest we to hold a separate like workshop / meeting on this topic to sort of finalize the outcome of this.
Maybe.
Yeah, definitely. We need more discussion on that with the technical guys' involvement, right?
Okay, so this was the first point of the agenda, and we have 9 minutes left.
Yeah. Sorry for taking your time.
So
no worries, no worries. I think.
By the way, so we would like to know the merit and demerit to expand the scope. Of course, so it should be discussed in another place. Yeah.
Honestly, Makoto-san, I don't think the expansion of the scope. I'm not sure if the expansion of the scope would mean any technical changes. So I don't think that's the components that we're discussing, like Larod or whatever it might be, are not relevant. So I think it's the technical scope is probably the same.
So in conclusion, so many kinds of vendors will join UniMatrix project, and according to Adler-san, so the AWS or Microsoft, I don't know, but so the marketplace is needed for the application distribution. Is my understanding correct? If we introduce the concept after now, so what is the merit and demerit? So we should make clear that point, and so we should decide which direction we should go forward.
But sorry, I am not sure that I understood correctly. So you're saying that those companies who contributed more have now a bigger, let's say, weight in choosing the direction or restructuring the vision of UniMatrix. Is this what you are saying?
So my concern is now, we are about to define the UniMatrix version 1.0 by the small group. And so if a lot of vendors are coming into the UniMatrix project, so of course, so the discussion would be difficult to summarize the common part, and therefore, so maybe it will take time to decide the standard. For example, this is just an example. Therefore, so the concept is very great. However, so we should make clear the merit and demerit, and so we should think about it deeply.
I don't get the point of the demerit. Sorry, I'm not. I think I'm not understanding you well.
Okay. I will send the email after this meeting.
Yeah. But Makoto, I think we don't really have a choice. We need to adopt to the circumstances in this way. That's what I think. But we need maybe to continue this. Leo has a hard stop in a few minutes, so I would like to, before he leaves, I would like to conclude the proposal on my agenda that Leo replaces me as Access representative in the governance board, and I take a second seat behind him. So if we all accept, we can make this resolution now. Everyone in favor of this?
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. So, and then we can move on to the other parts. iPro Makoto-san has proposed that we will use a schematic in Excel, a task list that we in the GB will tell the communication board and the technical board to map down their tasks and map them on a timeline, so we can easily know where we are on the undertaking. So it's a simple question, yes or no? And
yes.
Okay, yes for that one.
Yes.
And also the next question is, we are about to register the project with the Linux Foundation on the crowdfunding site. Is that yes? That's a very convenient way of raising some money or receiving donations if we want to spend money for things. Is that also yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then also we have discussed a little bit of keeping Mailman as the reflector, because Linux Foundation, they do provide a reflector. But if we keep it, we keep also the capability of administrating that very easy instead of being depending on Linux Foundation. We have learned that it takes some time before they react when you send them emails. So the proposal is that we maintain Mailman. And that's a task that will follow on the chairmen of the boards to keep those updated. It's not a very heavy task.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then we're concluded.
So let's keep discussion going on email, because I think, as Per said, we need to continue this dialogue about the scope. And I think the technical discussion will follow. It's not necessary. It's not competing discussions. It just needs a clarification who we really target.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you.
We'll come back in the meeting notes when about the next meeting and so forth.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.